WPPS TV3 Sports welcomes you to Portland High School football. We now send you up to the booth and welcome in Steve Schwartz on play-by-play and John Coyne on color commentary.
Good evening. It's November 3rd, 2017, and we're here at Bates College for tonight's exciting Class A North playoff semifinal between the Blue Devils of Lewiston and your Portland Bulldogs. This is Steve Schwartz along with John Coyne, Dave Elowich on camera, and Dave Levine on statistics. And tonight, Lewiston comes in after having had a tremendous effort to end the season against an undefeated Edward Little team. And the name of the game, I think, is Garrett Poussard. He's really the man to watch for Lewiston.
I agree, and what we have to see right out of the gate is a strong Portland defense. They've got to be able to push that down and keep that in check, because Poussard could be the undoing of this game for Portland.
Well, he is the leading rusher in Class A North. He's one of the all-conference players. But the Bulldogs, on the other hand, did something really special in Oxford Hills.
Well, they sure did. That was a great game for them. It was a total game. They put together everything that they needed to, special teams, offensively and defensively. It was great to be there, great to watch, and that's why we're here tonight.
Well, folks, it's a windy and chilly night here in Lewiston, and we look forward to bringing you all of the exciting playoff action in a moment. Here we go, John. Teams to remember, play in November. That is the motto for tonight's Portland High School playoff game.
Absolutely. Round two, Steve. We were in Oxford Hills last week. It was a great game up there. Again, chilly. We got November football weather. But here we are in the second round of the playoffs. These boys prove that they should be here tonight. They've already taken Lewiston once this year. We'll see what they bring to us today.
It's a beautiful field. It's a natural turf field, and if any team had an advantage on it, you'd figure, an artificial turf field, you'd figure that if anybody had an advantage, it would be Portland.
And I think, you look at it tonight, Steve, it looks like we've had some weather come through here in Lewiston. We waited out a thunderstorm before we get out here, and luckily both teams will play on this. Portland's used to it at Fitzpatrick, so it'll be a really great game here today.
So you see the Portland cheerleaders lining the field here tonight. Not sure that, Lewiston has a great contingent of cheerleaders as well. Lewiston's cheerleaders actually have won some awards the last few years at some competitions.
Finally, we ask that you help with the trash throughout the game. Please make sure to use the trash cans located at the bottom of the bleachers whenever possible.
If you hear some air coursing through the microphone, it's quite windy up here. We're on the roof of the press box here tonight, outdoors.
Between the visiting Bulldogs of Portland High School and your home team, Lewiston Blue Devils. Sportsmanship is an expectation in all athletic events. Please do your part to show respect for the coaches, players, officials, fellow sports fans throughout tonight's game. Now for the starting lineups. First, the Portland High School Bulldogs. Bulldogs are coached by Mr. Jim Hart.
Bulldogs choosing to be, I believe, introduced as a team, as they've done all year.
Now the starting lineup for your Lewiston High School Blue Devils. First, a senior, number 1, Clint Belanger. A junior, number 12, Tanner Cortez. A senior, number 15, Jason Willis. A junior, number 21, Hunter Landry. A senior, number 22, Jeremy by Spencer Emerson, Kevin Collins, Jeff Ondish, and Tim Madison. Tonight's officials, Mike Discatio, Steve Discatio, Mike Hopkins, Randy Hinckley, Randy Ridley, and Bud Sinclair. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please stand and honor America for the singing of the national anthem, tonight sung by Haley Martlock, Senior at Lewiston High School.
Broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets spread glare. The bombs bursting in gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, sing us that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
What a great rendition of the national anthem by Lewiston High School student. Folks, we're going to bring you the kickoff and all of the action in a moment. So, all Northern Maine Conference kicker Quinn Clark is set to kick off. A little bit of trouble with the ball. We're pretty high up on top of the press box, and it's very windy up here. Seems as though it's also windy on the field. Looks like Hunter Landry is deep, as well as Garrett Poussard. And Landry is going to take it at the 15. He's at the 20. Now the 30. And a great tackle by Stasium, the all-conference safety.
They did exactly what they needed to do there. They want to keep that away from Poussard. They didn't want to give him that explosion right off the bat. So kick it away from him. Keep it out of his hands as much as they can, because we'll hear his name multiple occasions tonight.
So it's the Blue Devils, 1st and 10 on the 31. In the gun is Tanner Cortez, their quarterback. And quickly stopped is Poussard by Nathan Capongo, the all-conference lineman.
Well, I'll tell you something, Steve. Last week in Oxford Hills, Capongo really had a great game defensively. You can see this emergence of this young man as the season's gone on, but he really put an exclamation point onto his season last weekend in Oxford Hills.
It's a 3-yard loss. It's going to be 2nd and 13 to go. And throwing, but quickly brought down by Silo Magno is Jason Willis.
Well, they pick up a little bit there. It makes Portland going to have to respect that passing game. Just a quick two-step pass.
It'll be 3rd and 6 to go. Ball on about the 35-yard line. 30s. Here we go. Rolling out to his right and looking for a receiver, and nobody home. In fact, the closest player to the ball was Vinny Pasquale, the all-conference utility player.
Right, Pasquale had great coverage there along with Zach Elowich. Both were really covered well on that first or the second pass here of this series. So it looks like Lewiston will bring their punting squad out, and Pasquale will have to navigate this wind. You can hear it through the microphones here today. And Pasquale will have to make sure he gets well under this ball.
Pasquale, the leading punt returner in northern Maine.
Ooh.
It's a low line drive kick, and it'll just be downed at about the about the 39-yard line, where the Dogs will take over 1st and 10. Okay, now it's the Dogs 1st and 10 from their own 39-yard line. Teron Moss is in the shotgun. He's got one in the backfield with him. It's Elowich, but he's quickly wrapped up by number 44, Dominic Colon.
No gain on the play.
A name that we said quite a bit in the first.
Right, Colin got in there really well. We saw him penetrate in the backfield a couple of times in that first Portland game, so we'll see how he does today.
2nd and 10, no gain. Moss keeps it. We have a flag on the play as he brings it up to about the 49-yard line, but we'll see what the call is going to be here.
And Moss made a nice read coming out of that, not handing the ball off.
Yeah, we have a holding against Portland, so it's going to come back. Moss, the 3rd leading rusher in northern Maine. The leading rusher for Portland, Zach Elowich, I believe, 2nd. And in fact, when Teron Moss was named All-Conference, he was named All-Conference as a rusher, not a quarterback. Great article in the Portland Press-Herald about him that we saw. Basketball star as well. It's 2nd and 18 now. Dogs are deeper in their own territory of a blitzer. And Teron Moss will not get much.
So you were watching Lewiston with a lot of stunts in there. They're getting something going. You know, Teron has grown as a quarterback through the season, but this is a new adjustment now. Portland beat Lewiston earlier in the season, 17-14 in overtime. And that was a pretty evenly paced game. A couple of big plays Portland gave up, but we didn't see so much of this, the stunts coming in here and the blitzes.
Now it's 3rd and 19. Moss holds on to it. He's wrapped up in the backfield. He's brought down by a plethora of Lewiston players. We see Sean Lake in on it and several other Blue Devils. So the Dogs will punt, 4th and 20. An inauspicious beginning for both teams, John.
I agree with you.
Set to punt is Zach Elowich, the leading punter in the Northern Conference, although fair catch called here by Hunter Landry. Not all-conference punting, but he did instead get all-conference linebacker, John.
He sure did. This Portland lineup was really loaded with those all-conference players, and it's just even with the kind of season that record-wise that these guys have had, we've talked about it throughout the season. There are a lot of highlights that have come out of this, and we've got a lot of younger players here, so there's a great future to build for next season. And to be at this point in the semifinals, I don't think anybody saw this when the Dogs were at 0-5, so it's a great tribute to them to stay with it.
That's right, and even 0-6. So it's 1st and 10 now. Rolling out and finding a hole, but then brought down just by one arm, Stuck out by Kapongo.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure, Steve, if I was trying to run and squeeze by somebody, he got a hand on me, I might go down real quick too. That's you look at him as an athlete, a big, strong young man, and there's no place to go but up for Nathan.
It'll be 2nd and 12. It's a 2-yard loss. Cortez still in the gun, 2 in the backfield. 1 in motion. Jackson. And watch out, it's Poussard looking for some room on the right side. He gets a few only.
Yeah, he strings that one out real nice. And that's really the first big game that we've seen at all this in this contest, Steve.
But a 7-yard gain makes it 3rd and 4 now. The ball is at midfield. Great vantage point, actually, to watch a game up here. You can really kind of see the play develop. Oop. Too deep for anybody, as the blitzer was Koa Farnsworth, the all-conference lineman.
So we were talking about this a little bit in pregame about the playing surface and what is it like. And you can see Koa Farnsworth as their quarterback pumped. He put his foot to plant and the foot came out from him. So it looks like even with that short amount of rain that we've got some slippery surface. We do have a flag that came from far on the field.
It's going to be against the Portland bench, I'm afraid. Well, no call, I guess. So maybe it's some sort of a warning. You could see the referee point to the bench. Mike Descadio, I think, the longtime referee here. It's well, it says it's 4th and 4 on the. So, well, it's going to be a downed. Goodness, what a great punt down all the way to the 6-yard line or so, where the Dogs will take over 1st and 10. So it's actually 1st and 10, balls on about the 8-yard line here, or the 7. Elowich goes down, brought down, I believe, by Connor Voisin. I guess Adamson will get credit for that, according to the announcer here. So it'll be 2nd and 10. Pasquale's in motion, and Moss is looking for a receiver. And now he's just trying to get out of it. And I think seemed like there was forward progress up about 6 yards ahead of it. But trying to break free, it seemed, was the receiver on the left side. And it looked like he was actually being held a little bit.
Well, we've talked about it a couple of times. He's so athletic and he's got such a great attitude, and he wants to get that ball moving positively. He's trying to get in and out of the trouble, and you can see there. Eventually, he ends up getting tackled close to the end zone. It was a nice mark by the officials picking up the forward progress, like you talked about, Steve.
3rd and 9. Here comes Elowich again, but he is again just swarmed by Jeremy Medor and Garrett Poussard and others. So it's going to be 4th down now, and Elowich will be punting from the end zone. They've got one back at about, that's a straight up punt. and it's out of bounds, so.
Well, I'll tell you something, Steve. The weather's really not helping here. You can, we've talked about it. You can hear the wind through the microphones, and that one got up there and got held up in the air on Elowich, which is just uncharacteristic as we've seen all season.
I mean, it's at least it's not freezing down there on top of everything.
Right.
It's probably in about the low 50s right now here in Lewiston. As you said, there was weather that came through. It's going to be 1st and 10 on the 27-yard line of Portland. And taking the direct snap is Brock Belanger. He goes out wide and gains about 8 yards. The ball in the red zone here, 2nd and 2. Ball on the 19. So Poussard, there's a flag on the play, but Elowich just was relentless. Did not want to. It was really a takedown for a good wrestling move. How many points is that?
For a couple points there.
2 points on the takedown, and here we are now with a penalty against the Blue Devils. Will drive them 10 yards back, holding. It'll be 2nd and 13. So Brock Belanger now has come in and is the quarterback. We have a timeout, I think, Lewiston. So with 4:51 left in the first quarter, the score, Lewiston nothing, Portland nothing. 2nd and 13, John. After that penalty, it's a long pass on the right side, and that looked like offensive pass interference.
Well, we'll see what's going to come out of this call, Steve, because we've had no indication on the field of a touchdown at this point. We've got one official in the end zone that just got done talking with Elowich, and they did call that offensive pass interference. It was great coverage in there. The Portland defender had inside coverage. There was no way, and then he hit the deck. So we could tell there was some kind of contact, not knowing what's going on up here, but a nice call by the officials.
Yeah, great. Actually, really a great call, and one that you don't always see a lot. Offensive pass interference is I guess it's a standard fair call against Gronkowski, but Brock Belanger again, the quarterback here for Lewiston, and Tanner Cortez is not behind center right now. We're looking for him to see where he is. So 2nd and 29, a little, dropped by Whiting.
So Tanner Cortez is nowhere to be found on the sidelines nor on the field, and it's unfortunate early in this match or early in this game for Lewiston to lose their quarterback. But it's up to Portland to capitalize on that, with Brock Belanger being in there listed as a 5'7", 175-pound senior. Offers a different look. You can see there that Belanger could get the ball out of the pocket real quick, too.
Good point. 3rd and 29. Pressure by Farnsworth. A great block by Poussard, but nothing doing as it fell just short of Jason Willis.
So with that penalty, Steve, that really took the wind out of the sails. Lewiston looked pretty good there. Nice reception. You can see, again, that Belanger can let the ball loose, and he can find some time to set up. And now we've got Tanner Cortez is back.
He is indeed, and it's 4th and 29, and as he does, he backs up, and he's going to go ahead and punt to Vin Pasquale. It's a low kick. He fields it well. It's a high kick, and Lewiston is going to go ahead and down it at about the 18-yard line, where Portland will take over 1st and 10. So here we go now. Teron Moss in the gun. He's got Elowich in the backfield. And he goes deep, deep for Stasium, and just too far ahead of him as Portland had a notion. Stasium was chased by Cortez, so you can say that Cortez is certainly healthy.
And that was probably one of the sharpest passes we've seen Teron throw throughout the season. I mean, he's got distance on that, and that wasn't a looping throw. It was a pretty decent pass.
He spoke in the paper about how, this is his first year. He's never played quarterback before. Learned how to pass, learned how to throw. He's a tremendous athlete, however. Just a real natural, terrific athlete. Okay, he escapes one. He sweeps out left, and gains about 4 yards. Or 3. It'll be 3rd and 7. 3:55 left in the first quarter. The score is 0-0 here at Bates Field for the Northern Maine semifinal action between the Blue Devils of Lewiston and your Portland Bulldogs here on WPPS TV3. Elowich finds the hole, but he runs into big Sean Lake. And once again, the Dogs will punt. Neither team really getting much going here, John.
Yeah, Steve, it could be part and parcel to the weather or just the fact that these are two well-matched teams, and defensively they're holding each other at bay.
Smart, fair catch called there by Hunter Landry. He picks it up at about the 43-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 for Lewiston. So Cortez back in at quarterback now, 1st and 10 in the gun. Poussard in the backfield, and he finds him, but Poussard's going to get about a 2 or 3 yard loss. Wrapped up by several people, including Mariba, Elowich, Kapunga, and company. Tomorrow, this game will be on. The game will be over, but tomorrow, in fact, we're going to be at Deering High School, where the Portland Bulldogs will play again the Lewiston Blue Devils for the state soccer Class A championship. 2nd and 11. The pitch. We have a flag in the backfield and another flag closer to the tackle. Hunter Landry took the ball. He gained a few, but we're going to see here whether we're going to end up with 2 holding calls or perhaps a offsetting penalties. Let's see. We have a holding against Lewiston. And that's that.
So the boys are doing a great job here. They strung that run out by Hunter Landry, who didn't get close to the first down. So defensively, these both defensive groups have stuck to it. The passing game for Lewiston is something that's got to be respected. They've thrown a bunch here with 2 different quarterbacks in there between Belanger and Cortez.
It's 2nd and 21. You can hear the Lewiston's fans saying, come on, stop calling them against us. Hey, it is what it is. Straight up the middle, but for about a 5-yard gain is number 21, Landry.
Yeah, what you're watching here, Steve, is this bend and don't break. They gave up a couple of yards there, but that's not going to harm the the Bulldogs much. But what's even more impressive is with the open passing game that Lewiston possesses, that they're able to still keep Poussard in check right here in the first quarter.
2-yard gain, 3rd and 19. And again, if Portland can hold them, they'll have an opportunity here. Well, here's Belanger now going the other way on the reverse, but he's going to get caught up and actually getting a hand on him, and credit for the tackle is Stasium.
You know, the thing you see right there with Kapongo and walking across and Belanger getting up, he tapped him to say, hey, you're all right. So the sportsmanship really goes a long way out here. Portland should get some decent field position because this wind right now is blowing straight across the field.
And I was basically foretelling because that was the 5-yard gain. 4th and 14 now. We have Pasquale back and stepping back in that kind of weird formation is the kicker. It's a low line drive kick. And Lewiston has really, it's going to roll the other way, but has been very successful in their punts in terms of preventing Pasquale from getting a hand on the ball.
Great strategy for them. You gotta wonder too about their formation and what that brings to it, because we've had a couple of low punts. Looks like a quick kick almost from a long time ago. But I just don't understand why they don't let him set up and get ready for it.
Well, of course, Pasquale burned them. Yeah, that was just a nasty hit once again by Colin.
Landry was in there too, and they just busted those seams. And I don't think that the Portland linemen put anything on the two of them, and Stasium had no place to go.
He lost 3. It'll be 2nd and 13. Beautiful moon here tonight. The clouds are just rolling past us here as a cold front is actually going through. Back to throw is Moss. Oh, he tried. Folks, he almost threaded that needle looking for Pasquale. Speaking of the effort that Lewiston has made, and you have to wonder, John, if it's a concerted effort they've made to keep the ball out of Pasquale's hands. He's the one that burned them with an interception return in the last game, a form of redemption as it led to the Quinn Clark field goal ultimately. 3rd and 13. Ball on the 33. Moss looks for the open hole, and he gets some yardage, but my goodness, he is gang tackled down at about the 39 or so.
So we're just back and forth and back and forth. I'm not sure that we've even had a first down here in the quarter at all. So it's he picked up some,
about 6 maybe.
Picked up some yardage there, and it's the end of the quarter here, so they're gonna move the sticks. So with a tie game here at Lewiston at Bates Garcelon Field, we'll be back.
4th and 6. Zach Elowich back to punt as we start the second quarter here at Bates. It's a nice high spiral kick, and it's going to roll out at about the 30-yard line. Great kick by Zach.
Now you see the difference there where Elowich has the ability to set up and he's ready for it. Lewiston didn't put much of a rush on him. He's got time to put that ball down, and you can see the result was a much better kick than what Lewiston's getting.
It's going to be 1st and 10 now from the 30. Tanner Cortez in at quarterback, in the gun. And there is a flag as he handed it off to Landry, who got a couple, but let's see what the call is here. Lewiston's going to march back. Holding.
So I know it's interesting here, Steve. We don't hear the call to see who that's being called on, but it's been a frequent call against Lewiston here in the second quarter, and it's negated some big gains. So I mean, I respect the fact that it's a hold and all that, but probably great for whoever it's getting called on.
Well, they've had at least 30 yards taken away here in penalties, maybe 40. It'll be 1st and 17. And there's some daylight here on the right side as Poussard is taken out by Teron Moss. He gained back a chunk, about 7 yards.
When the wind slows, it's not that bad out here today. But when that wind's blowing here in our face, boy, oh boy.
Belanger in motion. And that's just going to fall harmlessly between Belanger and Willis.
Well, and you watch that coverage out there. Stasium and Levine are all over both of those receivers. There's not much there to get. Stasium and Pasquale, my mistake. I'm sorry.
It'll be 3rd and 9. Ball on the 31-yard line. Belanger in motion. Play action. Oh my goodness gracious. That was a heck of a play. Moss bringing him down, but Solo just a little bit, going for the ball, really.
Receivers down on the field there. They're calling for medical attention. We've got 11 minutes and 4 seconds left here in the first half. Still tied at 0s, and we'll be back.
Number 15, Jason Willis, was the injured receiver. He's being tended to right now. He got up under his own power. It'll be 1st and 10, the first down of the game, John, for either team. The handoff goes to Poussard, and he is tackled right in front of us by number 88, Nico Levitt.
Yeah, it's a long time coming for a first down here with both squads, but it is what it is, and we'll see what they can do for the rest of this game.
Ball is on the 39-yard line. It's 2nd and 7. The Blue Devils line up with one wide out right and two in the backfield. Here's Belanger heading out in motion. And Landry goes straight up the middle, and he gets a second first down of the game. It's brought down by Elowich and Kapongo.
Now Lewiston's got a little bit of motion going here, and they've got a little bit of that forward momentum. We'll see what the boys can do here. They know that they can score against Lewiston. They did it a couple of weeks ago. It took them a nice comeback against the Blue Devils. That overtime victory about 4 weeks ago. You just we talked about a little earlier, Steve, just the strength that Kapongo got him up around the shoulders and got a whole handful of shirt and stopped Poussard from getting any further into the defensive secondary. I mean, that's a massive kid, a strong kid.
2nd and 11 now. Ball on about the 26. It's a low snap. Landry gets it. He's chased and
it's out.
It looks like a fumble. It could have been caused by, it looks like Mariba.
Hey, excellent ball there. You got it right. Mariba had a great job in there. He just jetted through. You can see him pick the ball out of of Landry's hand and see it pop out and hit the turf. So that's just what these boys needed. They continue to stay in there. They continue to stay strong, and good things will happen. If we watch this season progress, that's what's been happening for these boys.
Well, you're absolutely correct, John, and it's been building up each and every game. They start 0-6. They're 3-6 now. And here's Moss, and he takes the snap, and he goes out. He's got to protect that ball, but he gets about a 5-yard gain.
He sure does have to protect that. He's holding it out there like it's a loaf of bread. He's got to tuck that baby up. It's got to be giving Hartman a little bit of heartache at this point of the season and watching him carry that ball like that. But you can't argue with the outcomes that Tehran's been bringing to this football squad.
No question. I don't know if it gave Coach Hartman a heart attack, but it gave me one up here. I can't tell if it's that or if I'm just shaking because of the wind and the cold. 2nd and 6, I guess he gets credit for 4 yards. And we have a whistle and a Portland timeout. So with 8:30 left in the first half, the score 0-0. We'll be back. 2nd and 6 after the timeout. Coach Hartman wanted to talk a few things over with Tehran. He's back to throw, and he's past the line of scrimmage.
Ooh.
He gets held up short after a few-yard gain.
Well, he's dropping back to pass, but boy, didn't he make a nice run out of that.
Well, he gets credit for about 3, and it's going to be 3rd and 3. The ball is on the 33-yard line. Everything is 3s, and they need 3 for a first down. Moss goes to the right side, and we'll see. It looks like they're going to get a favorable spot. And it will be a bull. It looks like it's going to, well, it's inches. The original spot of the referee looked like he was over the chains, but they're going to take a measurement. And they do get the first down.
Well, that's great. Portland needed that one for sure, Steve. We just had Lewiston gain their first down of the contest here in the second quarter. So this is great to see Portland be able to move these stakes. Now we'll see what last week Griffin Foley was able to spread out a little bit, but we haven't attempted much of that today.
Well, we'll see what the story is here, as you could see that Poussard felt that he had stripped the Portland player of the ball, but I think he was ruled down first.
Totally about when the whistle blows on that one.
The Dogs catch a break. It's 2nd and 10. Christopher Vincent is the center for the Bulldogs. He snaps it to Tehran Moss. Tehran tries to find Pasquale, and it just is thrown behind him.
Yeah, just a tad behind. That was a nice move. Again, a crisp pass thrown there by Moss. Nice to see him. He's slinging the ball. Something's going to hit here pretty soon. He's got a couple of open receivers.
Third and 10 it will be from the 36-yard line. 6.5 minutes left in the first half. The score is 0-0 here on WPPS TV3. Moss takes the quick snap, and ultimately coming in to get the tackle will be Sean O'Donnell.
But you watch that one, Steve. Number 44, Cologne, was in there really quick again. He shot that center guard gap. Tehran was fortunate enough to be able to see that, read that, and step up and not let Cologne grab him. But boy, oh boy, Moss is really working hard today.
Elowich punts from about the 30. It's going to take a nice Portland bounce and go all the way down to the 25-yard line. The score is 0-0 here on WPPS TV3. Here we go, 1st and 10 now. The handoff goes to Poussard. For all of what you could say the lack of offensive momentum right now by the Dogs, they've done a great job defensively stopping the Blue Devils, and that was Elowich and company in on that to stop Poussard, to hold him to 1 yard.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Defensively, they really stood up. Neither team has put up too much offense today.
Poussard's been held to about 14 yards here in the first half. He's got Davian Jackson in motion on the left side. But once again, a great effort. This time Landry is held. That is Elowich. Well, Kapongo got credit from the announcer, and Kapongo was right in on it too, as they frequently are, Kapongo and Elowich. They make really quite a great team, actually. 3rd and 9. The Dogs looking to hold here and get some decent field position. The wide out is Lucas Nichols, close to us. Ooh, just outside the reach of Kapongo, and the tackle is Mariba and also Farnsworth.
Boy, oh boy, he nearly got killed back there. He stepped up and got out of that one. He was looking for the screen pass. Nice setup, but holy smokes did that defensive line get in there. By design, they got in there. They got in there a little bit quicker than he thought they were coming.
So, 4th and 6. Here's the punt. Now watch out, it's a fake. And it's going to be a first down for Tanner Cortez. If you want to talk about something inventive and a little bit different, that's it.
And that's what you run when you've got the quarterback back there able to do that. But you did see Koa Farnsworth and Zach Elowich made some good penetration deep into that backfield. And they were coming at such a pace that he was able to just step outside of them and gain that first down, Cortez did.
Well, the crowd is really pumped here. It's 1st and 10 now from the 38-yard line. Cortez back to pass with renewed confidence. He's got Poussard with about a 6-yard gain. He's brought down by Stasium. And he'll get credit for 7. It'll be 2nd and 3.
Portland's got the clock on their side, Steve. We're just under 3.5 minutes left here in the first half in this playoff action. They've stood strong. They've got this drive here. They need to continue to do that, take the ball, and let's get ourselves into halftime and analyze what's gone well for us.
2nd and 3. Cortez back. Intercepted by Vinny Pasquale. He's at the 50. 45, he drops it. Folks, it's a scrum.
Anything can happen at the bottom of that scrum, Steve. We got patiently waiting. Stasium got down there, and they're going to give it to the Dogs.
Well, because the recovery was made by Tehran Moss, and Tehran is limping. Actually, excuse me. I apologize, that's Stasium, and he's limping.
Well, we talked about it earlier, Steve. You said that they wanted to keep the ball away from Pasquale on the punts because of his dangerous nature. If you rewind this and watch Pasquale in that defensive backfield, he read that real well, cut off of his man, broke off coverage, and then came inside.
Jet sweep. But brought down behind the line of scrimmage is Vinny Pasquale.
Taking a little bit of a page out of Lewiston book, where they had Cortez as that marvelous fake punt and gains the first down, and Portland's maybe trying to build on that energy that Pasquale has there after that dynamic interception.
It's a 1-yard loss. It'll be 2nd and 11. The Dogs have very good field position at about the 42. 2:17 left in the first half. Time's a ticking. Moss back to throw. He's got Elowich on the right side, and a first down, Zach Elowich.
So you wonder what they're talking about there. Tehran had a little bit of a second, and he went to Elowich, and it's kind of like they were looking, do you want this pass this time? What are we doing? It looked a little bit like a playground ball out there, but hey, it worked.
11-yard pass. 1st and 10. Ball at about the 30. Moss back to throw. And he's going to instead make a heck of a run. It's going to be about an 8-yard run.
Yeah, he makes things happen. I mean, you look there, and he looks dead in the water. He looks dead in the water at that point, but picks up 8.
And Coach Hartman's going to have a timeout, and why not? With 1.5 minutes left in the first half, the score, Portland Bulldogs 0, Lewiston Blue Devils 0. We'll be back. So it'll be 2nd and 2. Moss gets credit for 8 yards.
Ooh.
Yeah, that is brutal. Lewiston has some great defensive play here tonight. Once again, Sean O'Donnell in on that tackle.
Boy, he was hit hard by Jackson Boswell, and the odd part about that is Boswell looked like he took the worst of that one, that contact there. It knocked him right in the seat of his pants.
Nevertheless, the chains will move. The clock was stopped for that. There's 1:20 left. Here in the first half, the Dogs have their best opportunity of the evening. They've got Nope in motion on the right. Stasium on the left. Watch out. Great pass to Vinny Pasquale. He's brought down at about the 4-yard line.
In traffic, he makes that throw. Pasquale's wide open there. Tackled just inside just at the 5-yard line.
That's a 15-yard pass. It's 1st and goal on the 5. So the Dogs, with 1 minute left here in the first half, are making a run of it here.
Ooh.
Yeah, and thrown for a loss, though, will be Elowich.
Zach Elowich on the carry meant there by the middle of the Blue Devil defensive line.
And it'll be another timeout for the Bulldogs. And they'll have 1 to go. It's 1st and goal from the 7:43 seconds left in the first half. So here we are now, for a 2nd and goal, and it was their last time out. So Moss is going to roll to the right, a little too far in front of Griffin Foley.
Well, that's not a bad idea. 3rd down. It's 38 seconds left here with that stoppage of play. The incomplete pass stops it. They're going to have a 3rd down, so they've really got 2 players. This wind's going to play havoc with any kicking game, and Quinn Clark, a quality kicker, but I'm not sure they bring him in this situation.
Well, the real question is, which way is the wind blowing? And it's blowing every which way. Yeah. But although it seems to be blowing a little bit more towards the goalpost at this point, rolling out to his right is Moss. Now he goes the other way.
Oh, my.
Open for a touchdown, Vinny Pasquale, a 7-yard touchdown for the Bulldogs. Wide open, Vinny Pasquale. Moss with presence of mind to change direction, and he had 2 open receivers on the left side, John.
A broken play there. He rolls out to the right. Everybody pursues. He breaks off of that throw. And, man, if it was designed, a wonderful design.
In now to try to attempt the extra point from the 10-yard line, and we'll really get a chance to see here, John, just what the kicking game will look like. That was good. The Dogs take a 7-0 lead with a half a minute left in the first half. What a game! So Quinn Clark set to kick it off with a half a minute left, probably not wanting to give a return opportunity to Poussard or Landry. And that's
Ooh, it's live.
You know, I know that acted as though it were an onside kick. And good hands people up front, I guess. And less than half a minute left. The Blue Devils will take over 1st and 10.
I'm sorry to jump on that one, but holy smokes, I'm not sure that up man expected that. He looked like he already had a foot dropped.
John, you can jump on any time, no problem at all. So we'll see here if Lewiston wants to try to make something happen with less than a half a minute left here. The pitch to the right side to Poussard, and he gets out and out of bound. Driven out by several players, including Elowich and Mariba, Kapungo, and others.
So it does, it does exactly what they need to do, pick up a little bit of yardage and stop the clock.
Three-yard gain, 2nd and 7, 22 seconds left. Tick, 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 tick. The pitch goes the other way to Landry. He's knocked out of bounds by Vinny Pasquale.
And I think a lot of that out of bounds is by design. That ran a lot of time off the clock. That was an 8-second play. They're still well outside of field goal range for really anybody in Class A.
That was a 7-yard gain, and it'll be 1st and 10 with 14 seconds left. The ball is on the 43-yard line.
This defensive backfield is really going to stay strong. Stasium and Moss deep back. They can't let anybody get behind them, and Magno and Pasquale on the sides.
This time to Poussard, fakes a throw and is brought down by Elowich and Jonah Green.
So it looks like we've got a Lewiston timeout there with a tackle happening inbounds.
Well, that was a 7-yard carry, so with 6 seconds left in the first half, the score, Portland Bulldogs 7, the Blue Devils of Lewiston nothing. So Lewiston never giving up, and they're going to go back for a pass here. Plenty of opportunity as they're going to do a Hail Mary. It goes out of bounds, however.
But it's not going to end here, Steve. We've got a flag here, roughing the passer on Portland High. So the play, as designed, the game quarter or time cannot expire on a defensive penalty. Tanner Cortez was dumped real hard there. A step. You can't tell up here. The official was right on top of it and immediately threw his flag. That's a costly penalty, bringing the ball to the 25-yard line on an untimed play now.
The Portland coaches are on the field.
It looks like we've got a Lewiston timeout.
Well, with 0 time left and 1 play to go, we'll take a break. Folks, the camera might be shaking a little bit here where it's extremely windy here up on top of the booth here tonight. So Lewiston now with one last play in light of that. They have 2 receivers wide right. And a great defensive play by number 37, Silo Magno. A great way to end the half. The Dogs are up 7-0. So John and I are joined here at the half by the forecasters, Mike Hoffer. First of all, cold enough and windy enough for you, Mike? Hold on.
Well, I think our nice warm fall has gone by the wayside, and now this reality is striking. And the wind's certainly going to be a factor here in the second half. It's going to be really hard to move the ball through the air. Not that either team's really been moving the ball much as it is.
Well, what did you think about the ending of that half?
Well, great opportunity for Portland. They were able to get the interception, thankfully hold on to the ball after the fumble, and then they drove down and got the play, a really nice athletic play by Moss to get out of what looked like a sack. He was able to run the other way and then find a wide open Pasquale for the touchdown. So, Portland's big-time players are making big-time plays, and really a fantastic defensive effort so far. They've really limited Lewiston, and I think the Blue Devils have to be frustrated. They had good field position in a couple of situations, and they've got a big fat goose egg on the board. So right now, the lower-seeded team continuing to hold serve, and we thought playoffs might be crazy this year in Class A North, and so far the 6 seeds leading, and Wyndham's leading at Yale at halftime too. So who knows? Maybe we'll have Portland Wyndham again.
Well, that'll be an interesting game if so. John, you mentioned at the beginning of the game that one of the keys would be holding Poussard, and they've kept him to, I think, about 14 yards or so.
They sure have, and we talked about it earlier. Wow, this is windy, man. But they really have, and they need to continue. I know everybody will go in at halftime and try to make adjustment. Mike makes a great point. This wind's going to play havoc with any air game.
Well, Mike, you and I are going to also be watching the soccer game tomorrow at Deering. It's going to be covered by Channel 3. They're playing Lewiston again. John, you're actually going to be the field announcer at Deering High School, and that's really going to be exciting. Folks, as winter literally comes in on this cold front, we're going to bring you all of the exciting second half action in a moment. Now, because the Bulldogs deferred, they will receive for the second half. It's become even windier. It's a short line drive kick. The Bulldogs will start with excellent field position as Zach Elowich was the up back on that, really, the up man. And so it'll be 1st and 10 Bulldogs. On the short kick, they'll take it at about the 40-yard line.
This has got to sound like a freight train as we're broadcasting here.
And I don't know what it's like on the field, but it's pretty windy down there too. Here's Teron. He cuts left and right and in the middle, and boy, does he bring it down about 13 yards. What a great effort by Teron Moss. So the Bulldogs come out like they've been controlling the show here. They get really just their second first down of the game, John.
Yeah, it's an excellent start for the second half for Teron, and a nice first series here.
The big big plays of the first half, the most statistics really are Vinny Pasquale with 30 yards passing. Here's Zach Elowich up the middle, and he's going to bull ahead, and he's going to get the first down on progress. About an 11-yard gain.
Boy, they got fired up at halftime, Steve. You look at this is a different dynamic than what came out. They had some nice ending to that first half, picking up that touchdown on a Teron Moss touchdown pass. But boy, they're exploding right off the line, first thing here.
It's now 1st and 10 from the 36-yard line. Moss in the gun. And Elowich evades 2 tacklers to get a couple.
I think this is what we're going to see for most of this half, Steve. We're going to see the ground and pound, offense and defense. There's no chance we're going to, well, I shouldn't say no chance, but we're not going to see a lot of passing with the way that this wind's picking up.
And as we say that, our favorite wideout, or one of our favorite wideouts, number 20, Griffin Foley, checks in. He is the leading receiver on the Bulldogs, and he's been injured much of the season. He's wide out left right now. And Moss goes to the right. There's a flag on the play, folks, as Moss goes down at about the 16-yard line, but we're going to see it's in the backfield. It's a hold, and it's going to come back.
Now that's an unfortunate event there. It was looked like a design play from Moss to fake that inside handoff and then roll out to his right.
One of the big offensive linemen. Second and 20. Moss takes it again. He goes up the middle. And he gets so much of it back. Goodness.
Nice move there on that play by Moss, keyed by a nice block by his colleague there in the backfield. Zach Elowich opens that up with a nice kick-out block to the right side, taking that defensive end out.
He springs Moss for a 15-yard gain. It's 3rd and 5 now. With the Dogs, once again, the ball on the 36-yard line. Yeah, this time he's brought down before he can reach that marker, among others, Keegan Voss, number 74, in on that tackle.
And while it's quite the complex here at Bates College, the city of Lewiston is investing in their high school just a couple of blocks away. They took the old high school field and leveled about 2 city blocks out, and they're going to put in a football field, a football complex. No track around that. It'll be joined by another field just off of that, also with artificial turf.
So 4th and 4, they go for it. Pasquale gets the first down. He fumbles. It's recovered by Lewiston. Well, you know, we've talked about ball protection, and it's cold, it's windy, and another unfortunate series of events, as he had a great opportunity, a great catch, the first down, and there we have it.
Looked as though when he came around that he kind of lost his balance, was putting his hand down to maybe steady himself.
You know, the field started out wet. I'm not sure that it is with all the wind now, but a great swarming defense, and Zach Elowich in on that tackle, along with Kapungo and number 40, not on our roster.
The 40 is Lewis Gaddis.
So 2nd and 7, 1 in motion. We have a flag on the play as Poussard has the ball. It's in the backfield. It's likely a holding.
Well, I'm gonna wonder about that. The man in motion kind of took a step towards the end as he hit that corner.
And that would make it a false start, perhaps. And it is.
Illegal procedure on the Blue Devils.
Illegal procedure is the call in high school.
Well, the crowd's kind of gone quiet here a little, Steve, on the Lewiston side as we sit here up in the elements, the frozen tundra, one might call it.
A 5-yard penalty. It'll be 2nd down and 11 with 7:25 left in the third quarter here. Oh, Belanger goes down, and of course, folks, when you take a knee or your knee goes down in high school, that's the end of the play.
Sure is, Steve, for safety reasons, so that they don't take a shot here. But you know, we can't complain much. We can complain because we're in the middle of it. But boy, we've had a great season weather-wise and accommodations. We're fortunate to be able to be up here taping today at Bates, but it's just the second time that we've had to be outside.
Well, I'm going to have a conversation with Jason Fuller. Frankly, he is the athletic director of Lewiston. He is a terrific, terrific guy, and I'm going to tell you why in a moment. Belanger deep and in trouble, and intercepted. Oh my goodness.
It's Ben Stasium that comes up with that interception, the one-handed Odell Beckham catch. Just snatched that out of the air. Their quarterback was really in no man's land. They had put Belanger back in there for a little change of pace, and he let one go just as probably a way just to get the ball out of his hands and lose the down. But what a pickup for the Dogs.
It's 1st and goal from the 7. A little excitement here. Elowich straight up the middle. He bulls in. And he's very, very close. He's on the half-yard line. 6-yard carry. And it'll be 2nd and goal from the 1. What I was saying about Jason Fuller is he compiles the Northern Maine statistics, and he sends it out to all media, and we are grateful for that effort. Teron Moss, touchdown, 1 yard.
Well, what a great push there. You can see that basically all 22 men were within 5 yards of each other, and Portland really found the gap, and Moss just walked into the end zone. Elowich had a great carry right before that with the 6-yard carry. He pretty much went untouched through that line of scrimmage and just got tripped up right before the goal line.
Oh, the wind is traveling in almost circular motion, but it's a fake. As Foley looks for Kapongo inside, and
So a design play, you know, when you get a bad snap like that, Quinn Clark, Griffin Foley's got direction after that. He didn't pick that up cleanly. They're going to go for a 2-point conversion at that point.
6 minutes left, 13-0 is the score. So Garrett Poussard and Hunter Landry are deep for Lewiston. And the wind is with Quinn Clark. Poussard will take it on the 15. He's at the 20, 25, 30, 35, and run out 40 at the 45. There's a flag at the end of the play. The yellow flags have really been coming out tonight, John.
And it's really got nothing to do with the wind here in this Bates complex. It's getting marked off against Lewiston. Looks like we've got a hold on the play. That flag kind of came out a little late, Steve.
Well, it did indeed. It's going to be marched back. The still decent field position on the 31-yard line. Just under 6 minutes left here in the third quarter. The Bulldogs enjoy a 13-0 lead in this Northern Maine semifinal matchup. The winner will play the winner of Wyndham-Edward Little for the Northern Maine Championship. Poussard, again, just gang tackled. You could just pick anybody out of that crowd. They all get credit for it.
And we did hear at halftime that Wyndham is up over Edward Little, so that's another another thing that we wouldn't have thought of walking into this game today.
It's a 1-yard gain. It's 2nd and 9. Ball on the 32. Brock Belanger on the left side, and it's too far left as Stasium was matching Whiting step for step. When we walked into here, we saw what looked to be a very kind of an ominous Lewiston team. They were all standing in the dark, and we exchanged pleasantries with their coaches, if you will, and here you have it. It's been a great effort here for the Bulldogs with 5 minutes left in the third quarter. The score is 13-0. And the Bulldogs are in front here on WPPS TV3, Steve Schwartz and John Coyne. Dave Elowich on camera. Brock Belanger in the backfield. He's looking for room.
Oh.
And he converts. He's very, very fortunate tackle on the far side of the field by Teron Moss. He converted to Connor Kaplinger.
First down, Lewiston.
First and 10 at the 50. The run with the quarterback, reads out, rolls to the right. It's on the 4-yard line. 46-yard line for a 4-yard run.
It's a 4-yard gain there after the 17-yard gain.
Just enjoying the beauty out here in nature. So we just got an update that Wyndham is up after a score about 3 minutes ago at Edward Little. They're up 14-0 over the Edward Little Red Eddies.
2nd and 6. The sweep. Tremendous job tackling, you know, really helping each other. Mariba was in on that originally. They gained 3. It'll be 3rd and 3 now. The ball on the 41-yard line of the Bulldogs. So a big down here. And Poussard cannot get the first down. Well, we'll see where it's going to be spotted. He may have fought for it, and he got it.
That was an excellent effort by Poussard there, Steve. You hit it right on the head. He hit that first line of defense, and he was stopped.
You know, that was reminiscent of the days of Joe Esposito, when you think he was covered and he just comes out of the pack. We've seen Zach Elowich do that several times as well, but this time it was Garrett Poussard, the leading rusher in Class A North. 1st and 10.
He's got that title for a reason, Steve.
And he gets the pitch on the right side, and there's a flag on the play as he goes about 13 yards, but we'll see. It's a holding against Lewiston.
Nice. That's just what the Dogs needed there. Poussard really got around that lane really quick, picked it up.
Illegal block in the back
Lewiston's got bit by this bug a couple of times today. Had some big runs taken away because of the holding call. They got a legal block in the back there. You could see it happen at the very end of the run. They just got on the wrong side of the shirt and took the Portland defender down.
Offsides.
They get a little back. That's only 5 yards there. You can see them jump. Not much. We don't know what's going on down there, if that was a hard cadence, hard call, or anything like that. But Portland hasn't had these issues right now, so you'll take that one with a grain of salt. Just gives them first and 9.
One in motion. Belanger gets the handoff, and he's first in on that is Elowich, but he's still on his feet. Oh my goodness. He lost his helmet, and he lost his mind on that run. Tremendous run for Brock Belanger, and that is going to move the chains. It'll be first and 10 Blue Devils.
And by rule, Steve, you lose your helmet on the field, you've got to come off for a play. So by Belanger losing his helmet, he's got to come out just one play.
First and 10. Ball on about the 26. Poussard tries to get through, and he's brought down by Mariba and company. It's a 1 yard gain. It'll be second and 9 from the 25-yard line. As the clock ticks the third quarter away here, there's about 1:40 left. Dogs are up 13-0. The Blue Devils are threatening here. Belanger takes the pitch on the left side. Can't find much room, and he's brought down by Teron Moss and Vinny Pasquale. Exchanging pleasantries with Jackson Boswell as they get up. .105 left in the third quarter. 3rd and 6 now for the Blue Devils. Belanger in the gun. And it's just a little too short, as he was looking for Jaheim Whiting.
You know Belanger wants that one back. That Whiting was open there, and you can see him. He kind of give that hand clap like, son of a gun, I missed that one. It's unfortunate for him, but the Dogs are in good shape here. 4th and 6. They've got to watch what we've got here. Definitely not going to punt with 4th and 6 on the 22-yard line. Give up a few, but not that 7th yard.
So we'll see what they've designed as Belanger takes the snap, and we'll see. Well, they have a delay of game against Lewiston. Friday night lights here in Lewiston, Maine. The beautiful campus of Bates College. I feel a little smarter already, John.
I think it's possibly because our brains are frozen a little bit today.
4th and 11. Low snap. Belanger on the right side. He's being chased by 3 dogs.
Oh, no.
And watch out. As Elowich and Farnsworth, I think, are going to save the first down. Oh. We'll have to see. I think they're calling for the chains for a measurement.
That's an awful long run for those officials to make that measurement today.
Well, the wind is carrying them over. They're getting there a little quicker. Now, let's see. It is a first down. My goodness. So Lewiston gets a good spot and a great effort, really, by Belanger on that run.
He sure did. Belanger willed that one to happen. He's about 10 yards deep in his own backfield, about 20 yards from the first down, and he crossed the field. Like you said, a pack of dogs behind him, but he was able to just get outside of that dog pound. And so we got 20 seconds left here, Steve, and then Portland's really they gotta dig down deep. They know they just gave up a big play, but
well, some great blocking on the right side as Whiting gets some daylight. That's going to be ticking off the third quarter. We're going to change sides as a 7-yard run. So we'll start the fourth quarter with a 13-0 lead, Dogs. We're going to start the fourth quarter here with Poussard.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, great effort there by Farnsworth.
Cole made a nice read there, gets on Poussard. We've heard his name a lot today, and we talked about him being the leading rusher in the Northern Division. But they've been able to key on him, and I've got a feeling that they've got somebody shadowing him for everything.
John, I'm looking at a weather app. It says it's 51 degrees with a 5-mile-per-hour wind. I don't think so.
Someone's not doing their job.
I don't buy that app. We got one in motion here. Belanger on the right side, a dangerous player. He looks to, but great effort by Pasquale to drive him out.
Yeah, this is not a 5-mile-an-hour wind that we're facing today.
No, sir.
State championship tomorrow, 10 a.m. Hearing High School.
They got another shot at redemption here. We've got another fourth down, Steve, 4th and 3. They've got to keep an eye on Poussard, but they've also got to watch Belanger out of that backfield. He's proven to be a pretty dangerous runner out of the backfield.
So here we go. The last opportunity. Poussard's up the middle. He will not be denied. He will score the 3-yard touchdown for Lewiston with 11:06 left in regulation of this contest. Great hole really opened up there in the middle, John.
Yeah, well done by the Lewiston offensive line there. They held Portland's offensive line at bay on the 4th and 3 and opened up that great hole for Poussard. And Poussard's the leading rusher for a reason. He showed it right there, able to read that with his great blockers ahead of him.
And in to try to convert is number 7, Whiting, I believe. It's up, and it is no good. No good. So the score is 13-6. The Dogs will have the ball. Well, the ball fell off the tee. So they're going to have a holder. Hunter Landry will hold the ball now for Whiting.
5-mile-an-hour wind.
Well, maybe not.
They'll usually give it one more shot, then the officials will will mandate that. Oh boy.
It's a low squib kick. Picked up at the 20 by Stasium. 25-30.
Stasium on the run back.
Almost the 30.
He ran about 30 just to get 8 there.
Adamson with the stop for the Devils.
First and 10, Teron Moss. Zach
Oh,
Elowich
baby.
has some room. He's got through couple of blockers, actually ran into his blocker. And a nice pickup.
That's how you answer a touchdown by the Lewiston Blue Devils. Just come back out, hand that ball up to your fullback, and let him barrel through there. Portland's offensive line really took a page from the script of Lewiston, opening up that huge hole for Elowich to get through.
9-yard effort for Zach Elowich. 2nd and 1. And he gets the ball again, and he gets the first down, and he gets more, about 4 yards beyond it.
Zach Elowich up very good for the first down.
Gets forward progress to the 45. Nice 6-yard gain on top of a 9-yard gain. It'll be Dogs 1st and 10 on the 45.
That's a good 15 yards there picked up by Elowich on those 2 consecutive plays. You watch him hit that line real hard. He's accelerating as he hits the line. He's not waiting to see what's there. He's got the vision to get through there.
Griffin Foley on the left side, but Teron keeps it, and he's going to get about 4.
Brought down by Tanner Cortez.
Cortez on the tackle. Teron Moss straight up the middle. Folks, he's got daylight.
Oh,
and
no.
Down.
Oh,
my
no.
goodness. His own player ran into him, folks.
That it was either contact by the player or he contacted the official. The official trying to get out of the way. That's an unfortunate event there. But we know that the officials are part of the playing field.
A nice 25-yard pickup for Teron Moss as he had daylight. Goodness. The Dogs now deep in Lewiston territory on the Lewiston 29. 9 minutes left in regulation of this contest. And Teron sees something that he's not sure of, and he calls timeout. So, 8:48 left in regulation. The score, Portland Bulldogs 13, Lewiston Blue Devils 6. The Dogs are threatening.
Well, that wind is just whipping around nature up here on the top of the booth tonight, Steve, huh?
It sure is. 1st and 10, Bulldogs. Moss, why not? Changes direction to the right side. He's at the 10, he's at the 5, he's in for the touchdown. A 25-yard touchdown run to match his 25 yards previous. Well, we have a flag down on the field, folks. Although Quinn Clark is out ready to kick. And if there was a flag, it's been picked up. You sure those just weren't Quinn Clark's yellow shoes you were seeing? That could be what it was. Number 17 now, up and through. So, folks, the Dogs take a 20-6 lead with 8:38 left in regulation. Quinn Clark set to kick off. It's a line drive. It's a spiral. It's picked up at the 20 by Poussard. Whoop! He gets past one, he drags a bunch down with him, and ultimately he is brought down by Cameron Conley.
I feel like we're on the top of Mount Washington. I'm going to have a little bit more. Yeah, I mean, this is just awful.
Absolutely brutal, folks. It really is.
Cameras blowing all over the place. Tell them.
Even our short-handed cameraman, Dave Elowich, is having a little bit of a hard time handling the weather here today.
Well, here you go. You've got the receiver. Nice tackle by Pasquale to save the huge gain by Lucas Nichols. And that's going to be placed about a yard shy. It'll be a 9-yard play.
Portland's got to do a good job of keeping Lewiston inbounds, tackling in the boundaries, and
yeah, Belanger has his receiver Kaplinger, and Jonah Green will get that tackle along with Zach Elowich and Vinny Pasquale. But moves the chains, and it's going to be 1st and 10. Both of these teams really have picked up their games quite a bit in the second half here, John.
They sure have, and needed, really. That first half was a slow, arduous half.
Poussard on the right side. He's big, he's strong, he will not be denied. He's brought out of bounds by Teron Moss, but not until he gains about 8 yards.
And you hit that right on the head. 6'2", 200-pound running back. That's a quick back and just a big, strong athlete.
Belanger really he's done that a couple of times. I think he's throwing into that wind, and it's brutal. It's just brutal. It's really credit, to these athletes down there. I was going to say credit to us, maybe, for being up here and not really being able to move around so much. But really, folks, those athletes are down there, and they're just playing their hearts out in this brutal cold, just a blustery evening that really wasn't expected, according to the weather report. Belanger will go straight up the middle, and he'll get the first down, the 3rd and 2.
Brought down by Jonah Green.
Jonah Green, once again, credit for the stop. Also in on that was number 40 again. Did you say it's Gaddis?
Gaddis, Louis Gaddis, yeah. So we were saying earlier, Steve, Lewiston High School is building their own football complex very similar to this a couple of blocks away. Also paired up with that is going to be another athletic style field, not designated as really anything yet. They're working on that, and a new baseball field up here in Lewiston. So the city of Lewiston's really taking an investment into their high school athletics.
It's a long pass down, and actually intended for Kaplinger. He couldn't get it. Running a little bit beyond it was Silo Magno, because if he had turned around, you just not sure what that would have meant. Folks, I think at this point we better hang on to the fences. We're going to be traveling in ways that we don't want to do. We don't want to travel. Let's just be thankful that it's not snowing. Belanger, it's a nice effort, but a great tackle by Stasium.
Yeah, nice play there. You can't take anything away. You can't take anything away from Lewiston for that one.
That was a Whiting, another great play by him. He's been into number 7 really on both team sides tonight. Have certainly been very much in the center of all of the action.
Right. They're going to stop the clock. There's going to be some kind of conversation here. That clock didn't start up after that last play.
So they're going to take a timeout, an official's timeout. We're going to take a timeout. 6:37 left in regulation. The score, Portland 20, Lewiston 6. Well, the clock has started.
So the officials on the field recognize that during that last play, that second down play, that the clock hadn't started. They figured that out, got word up to the booth, and rectified that situation. Oh!
Well, yeah, quite the effort there, but I think the first down was had. The tackle made was Mariba. It is a first down here, and the Lewiston is threatening. They're on the 15-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10.
Portland's doing a great job. A couple of yards here and there, keeping the ball inbounds, letting this time tick away is exactly what they need to do.
Belanger now is trying to follow his blockers, and Zach Elowich just wraps him up. Little ring around the rosy and brings him down.
That was Zach Elowich on that play. Again, having a great season. Last week was the all-star of that game with a couple of interceptions.
What I also heard was a tremendous punt, and I guess saw. There's a Poussard. Goodness gracious, he was run out of bounds ultimately by Jonah Green, but he came through with several yards there. 5, and it'll be 3rd and 1. If they make it, it'll be 1st and goal. The clock stopped because the player went out of bounds. Just under 5 minutes left. Here's Belanger now on the right side. He's got a couple of defenders, Farnsworth and Magno in on that tackle. So it's going to be 4th, and we'll see if it's going to be about 4th and 1.
It's going to be 1st and goal to go.
Oh my goodness. Well, they get the first down. It's 1st and goal from the 3. So a great opportunity here.
Ooh, boy.
And swarmed.
Portland says, no, 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 not today.
Poussard brought down. He's a big boy.
6'2", 200 pounds. I mean, he's a lineman on any other team. What a great athlete. Well, it's nice to be here, Steve, and you get to hear a lot. And there's a lot of coaches that sit here and watch their young men play and their community members play. It's a lot different when you're on the sidelines, whether or not you're coaching, playing, or officiating. So it's a great vantage point to have here.
Another loss. That's a 1-yard loss, so it's going to be 3rd and 5, and there's going to be a timeout, Lewiston. So they're going to talk it over. 3rd and 5, 20-6, 3:34 left. We'll be back. 3rd and goal from the 5. Belanger in the gun. Poussard takes it this time. Once again, he will not be denied, and he scores the touchdown.
Question here, Steve, for Lewiston is what do they do? Do they go set up and go for 2, or do they bring their kicker on? It looks like they're going to bring their kicker on. You know, he was not successful in his last attempt. The winds haven't let up. We'll see what corrections he's made for this second extra point attempt.
The holder will be Belanger. Whiting will be the kicker. And it looked like it was almost partially blocked, but that could have just been my angle. In any event, the kick is good. It's 20-13 Portland, 3.5 minutes left, and we will be back. We're back, folks, and here we go. It is a kickoff, not an onside kick. It's going to roll out of bounds, and there's a flag on the play. The Dogs will have good field position here.
That ball will be brought back out to the 35-yard line as a result of the ball going out of bounds. So you're right, Steve. They will start with good field position. Lewiston's got 2 timeouts. They'll burn those in a manner to stop Portland, but also to preserve some of the clock if they can stop Portland's offense here. The best thing for Portland to do is be able to grab a first down in this series, and that should march off enough time.
There's no 2-minute warning in high school football. 1st and 10 from the 35. Moss in the gun as he's been all night. Taking the handoff is Zach Elowich, and he pounds it through for 6 yards.
Boy, what a great half! What a great half Zach's had coming out of the backfield. For whatever reason, they didn't pick that up. That Zach Elowich is a decent product here for Portland High School, and he's really opened up the game for the Dogs here in the second half.
He actually gets credit for 7 on that carry. It'll be 2nd and 3 with the ball on the 42-yard line.
Now there's some significant clock management going. We started with 3:30 left in this.
Moss looks for the hole, and he gets the first down.
So like I was saying, Steve, there's going to be some great clock management. The clock will stop here for a moment while the chains move, and it'll get started right up again. And I know that Moss is queuing on someone on the sidelines for some clock management. Watch until that ball needs to be snapped, and taking every bit of the time interval between the end of the play and the start of the next play.
That's a 4-yard carry. It's 1st and 10. The ball on the 47. Elowich with the carry, kind of the same play that was run before. This time Lewiston was ready for it, and there's no gain.
Timeout, Blue Devils.
The Blue Devils will take that timeout, as you had suggested, John. 2:11 left, 20-13 is the score. Moss takes it up, straight up the middle.
And Lewiston's going to burn their last timeout, Steve, with 2:04 left. Whatever the play is here, we're going to have 3rd down, about 6. And Lewiston takes that, should be their last timeout. I'm not sure how that scoreboard's kind of winding down.
So as the Lewiston coach tries to get off the field, it's 3rd and 6, 2:04 left. Moss with the ball up the middle. He gets the first down.
Oh, no.
And he's off to the races, folks. It's going to be a touchdown. A 49-yard touchdown for Teron Moss. In just the last few plays, he's had 99 yards of gain. In fact, 149 yards. I think. He had 25, he had 25, he had 49.
Way over that. Just the last 4 plays.
Absolutely amazing. Quinn Clark in now, and the crowd is starting to leave. Even that was a high snap, but it was fielded well by Griffin Foley. 1:55 left, and what a run and what a game. Here we go, Quinn Clark set to kick off. Poussard will take it at the 15. He's now at the 30. He'll be brought out of bounds at the 32 by Magno. And number 51 is in for the Dogs.
That's Ryan Howell.
What list do you have that I don't, John Coyne?
The notes throughout the year. Howell dressed in 87 at the beginning of the year and then switched out his uniform. Somehow I noted that. I'm not Rain Man-ish.
Back to throw is Belanger, and he gets Poussard. And Poussard is off to the races himself. He's past midfield, and Farnsworth brings him out of bounds at about the 43-yard line of the Dogs.
So what I like here...
But an 18-yard gain there, John.
What I like seeing here is just the spirit out of Lewiston. If they could put something in here, that would make it really interesting, Steve. They're up 27-13 and just down by 2 scores, but they're still going after it.
Belanger, nice play by Magno. And that you could just see and hear the energy of that tackle. Connor Kaplinger is tackled. After only about a 2-yard gain. It'll be 2nd and 8. Belanger's a very fun player to watch. He's got a lot of movement, and watch out. Stasium gets the interception on the 10. This should pretty much be all she wrote, folks, as there's a minute 2 left. And the score is 27-13.
Lewiston has no timeouts. There's no mechanism there for them to be able to stop the clock. You'll watch Moss snap the ball. They should be in the victory formation. Moss will snap the ball once, get some time off the clock, and then do that second snap, and that'll be all she wrote for this game. And the winner of this game, we've found out, will face Wyndham at Wyndham High School next year because of an upset tonight in nearby Auburn. Edward Little lost to the Wyndham Eagles.
An amazing season for them. They went 7-0, and then they lost to Lewiston in the final game, and then they were still seeded, I believe, first.
They were the first seed going in with a bye week, and Wyndham's got a strong team. We saw a great game earlier in the season that ended on controversy. So these Dogs, they've atoned for a loss to Oxford Hills earlier in the season, and but they did beat Lewiston. But they've shown Lewiston today that they can come to play.
Lewiston High School thanks you for attending tonight's game. Please drive safely on your trip home.
So as
we'll see the players now shake hands in a show of sportsmanship that happens at the end of every football game in Maine. These players, these teams played their hearts out tonight. Teron Moss with 163 yards and 3 touchdowns was the difference, and you can see why. He was a Northern Maine all-conference player. Just a tremendous, tremendous effort.
We'll be back.
John, the Dogs, a 27-13 victory tonight. When things started, it didn't look like there was going to be much offense for either team.
Oh, it sure didn't. And to have all this offense in the second half is really for the boys to pick up on both sides. Both Lewiston and Portland picked up, but the Dogs prevailed tonight.
That's right, folks. Tremendous effort, as we said, by Teron Moss, really 163 yards, 3 touchdowns, some other great plays by Finney Pasquale, by Zach Elowich. Great swarming defense tonight as well.
Yeah, Kapongo really put his signature again on this game. He did it last week in Oxford Hills. He's done it again tonight, and they're going to really need him to play strong continuing through next week as we go to Wyndham.
Well, it's a freezing night. It's windy. The crowd is cheering behind us here, the crowd from Portland that came here. The Dogs are victorious, and they're going to face Wyndham in the Class A North Championship. This is Steve Schwartz, along with John Coyne, Dave Elowich, and Dave Levine, for WPPS TV3, saying so long from Lewiston, where the Bulldogs are victorious. Good night.